Hello and welcome to, well, Monday's edition of Cracking the Cryptic. I realised it was the 1st of July and then couldn't remember what day it was. It is Monday's edition of Cracking the Cryptic, where we are going to be taking on apparently a masterpiece today. It's called Full House. It's by Michael Lefkowitz, sometimes known as Juggler, and Lulero, who have collaborated to create... I mean, it's a really cool idea, this. The rules are very short and these grids overlap. So there's a 9x9 grid at the top, and then a 6x6 grid there, and a 4x4 grid there, and another 4x4 grid there. And you can see they sort of all overlap in places. And it's a sort of counting circles type rule we've got going on, but represented today by the suits in a deck of playing cards. Apparently this is absolutely sublime, so I'm looking forward to having a go at it. I'll read you the rules properly in a moment or two's time. Michael Lefkowitz, who indeed met Mark, he was in London, and Mark and Michael managed to tie up their diaries, so I think they had a drink the other night, and yeah, so this is a very nice that's a very nice segue into me having a go at Michael's puzzle today. So anyway, we'll get to the puzzle in a moment or two. What do I need to tell you? Well, several things. It is the 1st of July, and that means over on Patreon, it is Patreon Rewards Day. Now, I can tell you that because we made a mistake, we released the Patreon reward at midnight. So as at the time that I'm recording this, which is 12:15 on Monday, there have already been some 200 correct entries to Paws Sudoku hunt, all of which seem to be saying it's a really good fun hunt and that it is approachable. So we've had lots and lots of comments from people who've never managed to finish one of our Sudoku competitions before, saying they could get through it and they really enjoyed it. So do have a go. It's over there right now, and you will have a lot of fun. I haven't quite had time to finish recording my videos for last month's Sudoku Hunt competition, which was, of course, Blobs's Lord of the Rings opus. I mean, this is incredible stuff, but I hope I'm going to get a chance to do that today, in which case all those solution videos will go up on Patreon very shortly. Apart from that, I've got some announcements to do. I'm going to start off with a shout out to two very kind people, Helen and Matt, who I actually met at a party. It was lovely for me. So I was at my friend Hemmon's 50th birthday party, and Helen and Matt came over. Hemmon introduced them to me, and they hadn't realised I would be there, and they watched Cracking the Cryptic every day. Up there in Sheffield. It was an absolute delight to talk to them. They really do watch the channel a lot, and they were able to share their thoughts on what we do well, what they like about the videos, and it's incredible for me to meet two people in real life who genuinely seem to enjoy this thing. Obviously, I get to read the comments and things, but you know, to meet Helen and Matt was a real treat for me. And yeah, lovely party. Hemmon turned 50, so shout out to Helen and Matt, who claimed it was certifiably fun to talk to me at a party, which I still doubt, but they're very kind for saying so. Other than that, I have got one birthday to do. Tim, it's your birthday. You've turned 31 today, and I know this because your fiancée, I'm going to say Callie, I hope I'm saying that correctly, wrote to us to tell us that you watch every day. So Tim, thank you for watching. I hope you have a brilliant birthday today with chocolate cake, of course. There was chocolate cake at Hemmon's party, I was pleased to see. And then, not a birthday, but a happy anniversary. Patty is in England, and boyfriend Peter is normally in Canada, but I think might be in England at the moment, visiting Patty. And Peter wrote to us to ask if we could wish Patty a very happy anniversary from him. He described you, Patty, as the most incredible person he has ever met. And was clearly very excited about coming to England for the first time. So Patty and Peter, congratulations on, I think, your 7-year anniversary. I hope that you are celebrating with chocolate cake. Now, all that said and done, let's have a go at Michael Lefkowitz and Lulero's puzzle. These are the rules. In each N-by-N grid, normal N-by-N Sudoku rules apply. And it says brackets overlapping cells contain the same digit. Now I think what that means is that in this grid, that is a normal 9x9 Sudoku. But the digits so say we put, well, whatever digit we put in this square, let's make it a 5. That is a 5 for this grid, as well as a 5 for the 9x9 grid. So in this grid, you can see this is a 6x6 Sudoku. We'd have to fill in the digits 1 to 6 in every row, in every column, and in every sort of box. And this is a 4x4 Sudoku, so I'm going to get rid of that before I use it in the puzzle. This grid has to have 1 to 4 in every row, column, and box. This grid has to have 1 to 4 in every row, column, and box. And then counting cards, a digit on a suit indicates how many times that digit appears on that suit. So if this digit here was a 6, then what we're saying is that diamonds, there are 6 diamonds in the puzzle that contain the digit 6. Digit on a suit indicates how many times that digit. Yeah, that must be right. So if that's a 6, I wonder if if I double click all the diamonds, you can see all of those squares are actually diamonds. And a subset of 6 of those cells would have to contain a 6, so that there were 6 diamonded 6s, or 6 diamonded 6s. And then obviously there are a lot of diamonds here. The other diamonds would have to contain other digits such that it worked. Do have a go. The way to play is to click the link under the video as usual. But now I get to play. Let's get cracking. We had different reports on how difficult this was. Now, well, surely what I have to do first is to add up the suits. So if I double click the spades, there are 7, I think. There are no spades at all in the 9x9, and I think there are 7 spades altogether. So can I use... Oh, I see. Right. Okay. So whoever's put this in the software has made it so that, in fact, all of these cells we could write numbers into, I think. But what I want to say is that there are 7 spades in the grid. Hearts. Well, that's where I'm going to start. There are only 3 hearts in the grid. And that's okay. So we'll deal with that in a moment, because I can see immediately how that should work. Right? Oh no, let's use clubs first. There can't be as many clubs as there are diamonds. So clubs, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm going to do that again. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Because if I did get this wrong, it would be potentially disastrous. So there are 10 clubs in the grid. And then diamonds, there are an absolute multitude of these things. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 24, 26, 28, 32, 34, 36. Well, I'm going to put 36 in, and then I'm going to recount them, because this is I think it would be very easy to get this wrong. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36. Right, I've got 36 twice. So that is a good sign. I did it horizontally and then I did it vertically. Now, I mean, there are some things we could say about all of these, but I'm definitely going to start with the hearts, because I have to... One way of thinking about these counting card totals is that the sum of the digits that I put in the hearts has to sum to 3. Now, what we could do, of course, very simply, is that. But that won't work because that's going to break Sudoku rules in this Sudoku at the bottom. So we can't do that. So what we're going to have to do is to split the hearts up into one heart is going to have a 1 on it, and it can therefore be the only heart that has a 1 on it, and 2 hearts are going to have 2s on them. Now, because this must therefore be a 1-2 pair, that heart must be a 2. So we can go 2, 2, 1. I've got 3 digits in the grid. I haven't been going that long. And hearts are sort of finished, I think. You see, the interesting thing is, this grid is so small, you can almost do things with this. Because that's a 3-4 pair, that's a 1-2 pair, that's a 3-4 pair, that's a 3 or a 4. So we've got 2 diamonds now that have a 3 or a 4 in them. Oh, yeah, okay. Right, spades. Spades add up to 7. Well, these 2 digits are different because they're in the same row of a Sudoku. So one of these will be a 3, one of these will be a 4. The spade 3 is saying put 3 3s into spades, and the spade 4 is saying put 4 4s into spades, and that will cater for all 7 of the spades in the puzzle. So we can just double click this, we can double click all the spades and write 3 4 into them. Okay, so that's a 1-2 pair, so that's a 3-4 pair, so that's a 1-2 pair. Maverick's just taken off. Hello, Maverick. Hello, Maverick, my old friend. You've come to talk to me again. Now. Okay. What does that mean? I haven't got a Scooby-Doo. Okay. I don't know. Alright, let's try the clubs now. So, clubs. Let's look at clubs. Now, there are 10 clubs that need to be filled, but they're in a plethora of different grids. And some of them are in the big grid. I mean, there are many ways of this working. So we could have 4 different digits in clubs. If the clubs were filled with the digits 1, 2, 3 and 4, that would sum to 10. So that's possible. We could have 3 different digits in clubs and have something like 2, 3 and 5 in clubs. We could have 2 different digits in clubs and have something like 4s and 6s. No, we couldn't have 4s and 6s in clubs because one of the clubs is a 1 or a 2. So perhaps we could have... no, we're not going to be able to have 2 and 8, are we? Because too many clubs are in the 6x6 grid. Sort of, I feel like the clubs are going to have to be maybe 2, 3, 5 is going to be possible as well, but otherwise it feels like they want to be 1, 2, 3 and 4. I mean, here is a small point I'm noticing, and that is that the clubs in what should I call this, Sudoku 1, the big Sudoku, the clubs in this Sudoku are only in 3 different boxes of the Sudoku. So we can't avail ourselves of any of the terribly big numbers. Yeah, I mean, maybe that's a way to think about this puzzle. So obviously this one and this one, this Sudoku and this other Sudoku down here, they only contain the digits 1 to 4. This Sudoku only contains the digits 1 to 6. So any 7s, 8s and 9s that appear in suits have to appear in the 9x9 grid. But they can't be in things like clubs in the 9x9 grid because the clubs only occupy 3 different boxes. So imagine you tried to put a 7 in a club. You could put a 7 there, you could put a 7 there, you could put a 7 there. That's 3 different 7s, but that's all the 7s we could ever put in this grid. And there can't be any 7s there, and there can't be any 7s there, and there can't be any 7s there. So there is no possibility that you could do 7, 1 and 2 in the clubs or something like that to add up to the 10 that we need. We might be able to do 6s though. If 6, 6, 6, for example, the devil made an appearance, and then 6, 6, 6, for example, that could work, couldn't it? And then we need something like a 1 and 3 pair. Well, probably we would need a 1, 3 pair given this. So that could be a 3, and then we could have a couple of 3s up here. Yeah, quite like that. So 6, 1, 3 might be possible for the clubs. And then the diamonds, we're going to be having to think about much more complicated things, because in the diamonds let's talk about a Sudoku secret. It's something I share with my very favourite people, but if you're watching this video, of course you're one of my favourite people. Although I have to say, I'm looking at this 3-4 and this 3-4 pair here, and I'm thinking, I've got a problem, I've got a clash, but that 3-4 is not in the 9x9 grid, so it's actually okay. But sorry, I've got distracted. The secret is that all the Sudoku numbers together, the numbers 1 to 9, sum to 45. So it wouldn't be possible for any suit in this puzzle to occupy more than 45 squares, because let's think about how that could work. Let's say there were 46 diamonds in this puzzle. Well, once we put a 9 on a diamond, there would be 9 diamonds with 9s on them. We put an 8 on a diamond, there'd be 8 diamonds with 8s on them, etc., all the way through to 1. But 9 plus 8 plus 7 plus 6 plus 5 plus 4 plus 3 plus 2 plus 1 is only equal to 45. So there's no way you can possibly have numbers greater than 45 for the suits. And in fact, because this is 36, we have to miss out digits or a digit summing to 9 from the diamonds. So we could just miss out a 9. In fact, maybe that's what you have to do. Yeah, I mean, imagine that. Imagine that 9 is on a diamond. Well, that's interesting, isn't it? Because the only grid that could contain diamonded 9s is the 9x9 grid. And that would mean there are 9 9s in this grid here. It's definitely got 9 9s in it, because it's a Sudoku. But all of the 9s, well, yeah, so there would have to be a 9 in row 9, wouldn't there? There would have to be a 9 in row 9, but it would have to be a diamonded 9, because that 9 needs to be diamonded. So that would be a diamonded 9. Yeah, but in the 9 in box 8 would have to be diamonded, so that would be diamonded, that would be diamonded, that would be diamonded. I mean, when I say diamonded, these would be diamonded 9s. One of those would be a diamonded 9, that would be a diamonded 9. That would be a diamonded 9, one of those two. That would be a diamonded 9. Yeah, this is what's going to happen. Look, we can plot them all. Those would be, all of those squares would contain a 9, and the fact that we can plot them is very interesting. It seems suggestive, doesn't it, that 9 is part of is one of the digits contributing to the 36 total. Yeah, and then, well, yes, that's very interesting, because then think about how it would work from then on. Yeah, you couldn't have 8 and 7. Yes, this is really, I think this is the way we're going to have to think about the puzzle, because imagine these yellow squares are 9s. Well, what digits are we missing out? In fact, sorry, I realise I'm jumping about a bit with my brain here. Because there are lots of different possibilities for how the digits that are not diamonded could be made up. The digits that are not diamonded sum to 9, so there could be 3 of them in total. There couldn't be 4 different digits, because the minimum 4 different digits can add up to is 10. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So we could have something like 3 digits missing from the diamonds, which are 2, 3, and 4. But what I'm wondering about there is we do have quite a lot of diamonds in the smaller grids. So it feels more likely to me that we are missing a big digit from the diamonds, and that is consistent with what I was thinking about with the big box here, because if there are 9 9s in diamonds, they would be in those yellow squares. And let's imagine there were also 8 8s in diamonds. Where would they go? You can't put, if this was a diamonded 9, you can't put 8 in a diamond in box 8. So every other box in the big Sudoku would have to contain a diamonded 8, and that would be a diamonded 8, and that would be a diamonded 8. And that would be a diamonded 8. Oh, hang on, something's gone wrong there. Well, that's interesting. Have I made a logical error there, or is that a genuine paradox? There's if yellow is 9, you definitely can't put a diamonded 8 in box 8. So that would be a diamonded 8. That would be... Yeah, that doesn't work. Right. So we've actually reached a contradiction here. So either 9 is part of the 36 total, in which case the yellow squares are all 9s, and 8 and 1 would have to be missed off the diamond total, because we're looking for digits that sum to 9. So if 8 can't be, and it couldn't be if the yellow squares are 9, we've just shown that you can't put 8 8s in diamonds in the big box. So the other digit would have to be a 1 that was not in a diamond. And that would be absolutely profound, wouldn't it? Because where would you put the 1 in this column then? Because you couldn't put it down here, because it would then be on a diamond. So that would be a 1, and there would be a 1 in a club. That would have to be a 2. We'd have to be very careful about 1 here. 1 would have to be here. Oh, hang on. Here's a thought. Look at this row. Yes, I can do Sudoku. I'm allowed to do Sudoku. Oh, think of it a different way. Look at row 9. Look at those squares. What are they in the 9 by 9 grid? Well, they are 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. But in this grid, I can't put big numbers into it because this is a 6 by 6. So those two squares have to be a 5, 6 pair, which means these are a 1, 2 pair. These digits are now not 5 and 6. Okay, and then you could sort of do the same thing again, in the sense that those two digits there are interesting now. Because, right, let me just highlight those squares. That is a box of the 9 by 9 Sudoku. But those two squares have to be selected from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, because they are in the 6 by 6 Sudoku. But they can't be 1, 2, 5, and 6, or they would repeat in the purple squares of box 9, box 9 of the big Sudoku. So they must be a 3, 4 pair. These are a 7, 8, 9 triple. Okay. And we're still no nearer to working out. Well, we're a little bit nearer to working out how the diamonds work. But I'm not quite sure how we're going to prove whether it's whether it's 8 or whether it's 9 that's missing from the diamonds. So so 7 is diamonded. Oh, okay, maybe that's what we have to think about. So, sorry, yes, so what we've worked out is that it is not possible for both 8 and 9 to be in diamonds. So one of them is missing and contributes to most of the reason that this number is not 45. We've either missing an 8 and a 1 from the diamonds, or we're missing a 9 itself. They are the two possibilities. Now 7 is therefore diamonded. And where can the 7s be in this puzzle? Well, they can't be in the small Sudoku, so they're all up here. So, yes, okay, so now what we should do is to check. If 9... So if 9... Yeah, okay, this is very interesting. So what I'm now thinking about is if 9 is in the yellow squares of box of the big Sudoku, where are the 7 diamonded 7s? Now, there would not be a diamonded 7 in box 8. And, because this would be a 9, there would not be, and that square is a 1 or a 2, there would not be a diamonded 7 in box 9 either. So, those two boxes would not contain a diamonded 7, which means every other box would have to contain a diamonded 7. Now, I don't know if that's possible yet, but I can see that we can start to plot some of them. That would be a diamonded 7. That would be a diamonded... that's broken. Ooh, yes, here we go. We've done it. Right, so forget that one. Look at this one. That would have to be a diamonded 7. Now, where do I put the diamonded 7 that I must have in this box? Nowhere, because this is a diamonded 9 on this paradigm. So this is wrong. And that is beautiful because, well, no, it's not quite. It's good. It's good because that means that 9 is the number that isn't diamonded, which means we can get rid of the yellows. They are no longer important. 9 is never on a diamond, and that is the reason that this number is not 45. And that means that 9 is never on a diamond. So we can do that. Now that means that the corollary of that is that 7 and 8 are diamonded in the top grid. Which, right, so 7 and 8 are diamonded, and that means altogether in the top grid there are 9 8s, altogether in the top grid there are 9 7s. And of the 18 8s and 7s in the top grid, 15 7 7s and 8 8s are diamonded. So there can only be 3 non-diamonded 7s and 8s, if you see what I mean. And the reason I'm stating it that way is that I can see that there is a lot of pressure in these two boxes straight away. What do I mean? Well, how many diamonded 7s and 8s are there in that box? Well, the answer's 1. And how many diamonded 7s and 8s are there in that box? And the answer is a maximum of 1. So altogether, but there are two 7s and 2 8s in the purple region. But there are only 2 possible diamonded 7s and 8s. So these two boxes alone cater for 2 of the missing 7s and 8s that are undiamonded. Now, what does that mean? That might not mean anything, I'm afraid. I'm trying to see whether I can... So that digit... Right. I think this is right. Let's try this. Look at this box. Let's look at that box as well. Now, there is the possibility, obviously, that that's a 7-8 pair. In which case this box would contribute not at all. It wouldn't contribute to one of those 3 7s and 8s that aren't diamonded. But if that is a 7 or an 8, can that digit then be diamonded in this box? And the answer is no, because whatever that digit is one of those squares, and so by Sudoku that digit will be in one of those 3 positions of box 6. So it's tricky. What I'm saying is that either this is a 7 or an 8, but if it is a 7 and 8, this box has an undiamonded 7 or 8, and that's the third and final undiamonded 7 or 8. Or this is not a 7 or an 8, in which case that cell itself is undiamonded. Oh, no, it's diamonded. It's diamonded, but it's not a 7 or an 8 that's a diamonded. So box 3 could only have one diamonded 7 or an 8, and that would be the third undiamonded 7 or an 8. So between these boxes, you've got all of the undiamonded 7s and 8s, which means that every other box in Sudoku 1 has diamonded 7s and 8s in it. Which, well, that means those two are 7s and 8s, because they're the only diamonded cells in box 5. These two are diamonded 7s and 8s. That is a diamonded 7 or an 8. We're going to run out of steam. Well, no. Hang on. Well, that, yes, okay, on this paradigm, it's not possible to leave this as not a 7 or an 8. That must be a 7 or an 8. Because we could only have one missing 7 or 8 here, one missing 7 or 8 here, and one missing 7 or 8 up there. But this square can't be a 7 or an 8. So at least, I think that one has to be. Oh, well, hang on, let's try something easier. That square cannot be a 7 or an 8 by Sudoku, but we know there must be 2 diamonded 7s and 8s in this box, so I can do that. Now this can't be. Oh, look, yeah, this is good. Right, well, look at box 1. That can't be a diamonded 7 or an 8, neither can that, but there must be 2, so those two are 7 and 8. Now... Well, now, this is very weird but wonderful. Now this square just can't be a 7 or an 8. So my earlier hypothesis, which was that this could be a 7 or an 8, has been disproved. So that means that the final undiamonded 7 or 8 is actually in this box. I don't know where it goes, but that must be a diamonded 7 or an 8 now. And because this can't be a 7 or an 8, those must both be 7s and 8s. This is really, really beautiful. Right, so let's just check we're in a good position. So what I'm saying is, there is one undiamonded 7 or an 8 here, which is true. There is one undiamonded 7 or an 8 here, which is true, and there is one undiamonded 7 or an 8 here. I don't know where it goes, although maybe I can work out where it goes. I'm not sure. This might not work. I'm going to try it. So what I'm thinking is I ought to be able to colour these against one another. So let's just quickly see if we can do that. So that would be green. That would be green. So that would be purple. That would be actually, I think I may have been somewhat inept in terms of where I would imagine I can start in a better place to get these colours rolling. Seven or an 8 here. Yeah, isn't this square a 7 or an 8 by Sudoku? I think it is. Because there's a 7 or an 8 here, a 7 or an 8 pair there, and this can't be a 7 or an 8 because of what's going on in this row. So I ought to be able... Bobbins, I can't see how to do it. Sorry. How do we do this then? Can we do... I don't know. Oh, sorry, I think I'm stuck. Maybe we can do... Oh, okay, I'm gonna resort to Sudoku. That's how desperate I am. Where do 1 and 2 go in this box? They have to go there, I think. Right, that is actually very interesting now. Where is 9 in this box? And the answer is I have not got a Scooby-Doo. I accept it's in one of those 3 squares. But that's important, look, because now this square has become a 7 or an 8 by Sudoku. And the implication of that is actually quite cool, because I can now colour that, which means I can colour that, which means I can colour that, and I can colour that. And I managed to extend... I'm unsure I can get this colouring going to the top of the grid, but I have managed to colour a bit more of the world. So now, okay, so now where is purple? Look, this is, oh yeah, this is a 9, because that's a 7, 8 pair. That's a simpler way of seeing the complicated thing I just saw. That's now a purple digit. This is an absolutely fascinating puzzle. It's really peculiar, but it is fascinating. So I now know, the structure of the diamonds, because they just, all the diamonds, well, hang on. All the digits are in diamonds except the 9. And now I've found 7s and 8s, or I've found some of the 7s and 8s. In fact, oh, good grief, right. Okay, no. Forget what I was about to do, because I can do something much better. Right, look at green. When I say green, I mean the light green. Look at these light green diamonds. Now, count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There, whatever the digit is in the light green, there are 6 of it already in diamonds. But look, one of those is going to be light green. I don't know which one. And one of these is going to be light green as well. Because in box 1, obviously, there's one of each. There's one of each here. So that means there are already 8 8 diamonded light greens in the puzzle. I don't know exactly where they go, but there are 8 of them. So light green cannot be, well, it cannot be 7 because there are 8 diamonded thingies of it. So those are all definitely 8s. These are all definitely 7s. But the really beautiful thing is, let's go to this digit. If that was another diamonded 8, there would now be 9 diamonded 8s in this puzzle. So that must be a diamonded 7, which means that's an 8, which means that's 8, that's 7, that's 8, that's 7. Now we can double click. Oh, double click that one. I want to put those ones, make those green. And we should find in this top grid 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We have 7 diamonded 7s, and I think we should have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 diamonded 8s. That is absolutely gorgeous. And we actually get all those 7s and 8s. There's a 9 in one of those by Sudoku. 9 in one of these by Sudoku. 9 can't go in the 1 to 6 grid. 9 can't go in a diamond, so 9 is up there. 9 can't go in a suit colour at all. Hang on, let's just see if we could do better than that. We could... Well, okay, so what are the other diamonded digits then? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5... Yeah, okay, I can see how to do this. Right, so let us now turn our attention to 5s and 6s together, because we know that there are 5 diamonded 5s and there are 6 diamonded 6s in the puzzle. Where do they go? Now, those diamonded 5s and 6s can't go in the 1 to 4 grids, because 5s and 6s don't exist in those grids. Now, in the big Sudoku, there are, I think, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cells that we have not coloured in yet, that are diamonded. So they could have 5s and 6s in them. How many? So, given that there are 11 diamonded 5s and 6s, and there are a maximum of 5 in this one, there must be at least 6 diamonded 5s and 6s in this box, mustn't there? But this box, well, in fact, I'm now seeing this box definitely has diamonded 5s and 6s here. That's actually true. But those 4 diamonds can only have 2 of the diamonded 5s and 6s. So there's 2 there. These could all be. That would be another 4. That would get us to 6. So this grid can provide a maximum of 6 of the diamonded 5s and 6s. So this grid must provide the other 5, because there are 11 altogether, and they must be those digits. This is just beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. So these digits in the other grid, they are also what I'm going to call yellow. They are 5s and 6s. And I'm wondering about colouring these ones against one another, because what we now need to try to do is to work out which of these yellow ones is 5 and which of them is 6. Sorry, I'm just a bit stuck at the moment. Let me just think about this for a second. Or possibly more. Okay. How do we do this then? I'm not sure I can do what I wanted to do. I mean, I don't know. No, I think this might be. I'm just going to play just to see if I can do it. I don't know. These are the yellow ones actually. See, maybe I need to change tack actually slightly. I'll unyellow those, and I'll start to colour my 5s and 6s against each other generally, using the fact that I've now learned some things about 5s and 6s which I didn't know before. Now that unfortunately seems to be immediately not being useful. Oh well, no, that's a yellow. That is something I've just learnt. Yellow has to find a place in there. Yeah, okay, so this digit, right, there is a little bit of Sudoku we can do, I think. Because this digit here, that sees a 3-4 pair and it sees a 5-6 pair, so that's a 1 or a 2. And now in this column, this is amazing. That digit, because I've now got a 1-2 pair in the first column of the 6x6, and I've got a 5-6 pair, that becomes a 3 or a 4. That's given me a 1 in this box. So now I get a 3-4, a 1-2. I've got to be very careful. I can't use this on this grid. I can use that one on it, but that one's sort of not resolved. Oh no, okay, that's looking a bit forlorn, isn't it? So that digit has to find a home in this box, so that's got to be there. I mean, it's true to say one of these is a 5 or a 6, but I don't know whether it's going to be on the clubs or not. But hang on, if that's yellow, that one, that is in the same Sudoku box, so that is a grey one. That's the sort of thing I was looking to do. In fact, that's a grey one as well, because that's in the same row as a yellow in the same puzzle as itself, if you see what I mean. Yeah, that's what I was hoping to do, but I'm still struggling here. Because I can't quite... No, actually, hang on. That one is grey. Because it's in the same column as a yellow. It's very interesting. Oh, well, no, it is very interesting. It's very... Yeah, here you go. Right. Okay. So now, let's actually... Rather than thinking about the colouring, in fact, no, I'm going to keep doing this. I hadn't realised I could, but I can. And then I'm going to tell you the thing I just noticed. Right, look. Where's grey in this box? It's there. So that's a 5 or a 6. So it's that's a 5 or 6. So it's not a 9. Yellow is in one of those. I might actually record that. Grey is in one of these. Grey is in one of these. Yellow is in one of those. Okay, let's go back to the thing I noticed. If we look at grey cells that have diamonds in them, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but look, one of those is a 5 or a 6, and it will be a grey, and it's diamonded. So there are definitely now 6 diamonded grey cells. So they must be the digit 6 wherever they occur. So all of these are now 6s, which means that the yellow one is 5. Also, how could that now be? That can't be another grey one, because otherwise I'd have 7 grey diamonded 6s. So that must be a 5, which means that's a 5. These two are both yellow. So let's count. Well, I think I've probably got these now, haven't I? If we count, yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We've got the 5 diamonded 5s, and we've got the 6 diamonded 6s. So our only job now, well, it's not our only job. We've got many jobs left to fulfill, but can we somehow do better with our Sudoku? This is a 5-9 pair. So what are those digits then? They're a 3... no, hang on. Yeah, they are. They're a 3-4 pair in this grid. In this grid here. Those squares are effectively a 1, 2, 5, 6, 7, 9, and that's an 8, sort of septuplet or something. So these squares are 5, 6, and 9. Oh, Bobbin, sorry. I think we're close to cracking this now, but I can't see how to do it. One of these is a 6, but the 6, yeah. See that it looks like that one doesn't want to be a 6 because of this 6, but that is not in the same grid. This grid is different. Look, let's get rid of the colouring of our 8s and 7s now. 8s and 7s, no, 9s are not done, but 8s and 7s are done. Yellows were trying to be done, and greys were trying to be done, but failing really. How can I have had 53 minutes? That is absolutely ridiculous. I've only just started. So, well, here is an interesting thought. No jokes about. Yeah, here is. Let's change tack altogether. Let's go to clubs. Now, if I double click the clubs, we know there are 10 of them, but we haven't yet decided how we're going to make up the digits that form that 10 sum, if you like. One of the options that we identified was a 1, 2, 3, 4 quadruple in clubs. That looks really likely to me now, because how on earth is it not that? We know that you can't put 7s and 8s and 9s in clubs. I'm going to claim that there's no way you can put 6 6s in clubs anymore. Now maybe that's wrong actually. I hadn't. 1, that could be a 6 in a club. 2, that could be a 6 in a club. 3. No, I don't think you can do it. There's not even remotely enough clubs that could be 6s. Now, Right. Okay. Now I'm pretty sure you can't put 5 5s in clubs because this grid is so replete with 5s. We've got all the 5s in this grid and none of them are on a club. So we'd have to put 5 5s in clubs in this box up here, in this Sudoku up here. But we know there are only 3 different Sudoku units: box 3, box 4, and box 5. So we can't possibly put 5 clubs in those, or 5 5s on clubs in there. So if we can't use 6s and we can't use 5s, then the only way we can get to 10 is if the clubs form 1, 2, 3, 4. They are all 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now I don't want to include that one in this because that one has already been pencil marked to be less than that. So we can do 1s, 2s, 3s, and 4s here. Now that square is not a 3 or a 4, which means that square is a 6, and 6 is our grey digit. Okay. Is that good? It might be. I don't know yet. Let's see. Well, okay, I've got one thing I can do with that. There might be a better thing here, but here's the thing I've seen. Okay, look at this column. Now, in particular, let's look at these 2 squares. Now, one of these 2 squares, in that column altogether, there's a 1, 2, 3, 4 quadruple. So one of these digits is very low. This digit here is a 1 or a 2. And that means one of the purple squares must be a 1 or a 2. And one of the purple squares must be a 3 or a 4. Let's focus on the 1 or the 2. So one of these purple squares is a 1 or a 2 in a club. That is a 1 or a 2 in a club. That is a 1 or a 2 in a club. How many clubs can contain the digits 1 and 2 in this puzzle? Well, it's 3, isn't it? Because we can put 2 2s in a club and 1 1 in a club, and that's it. So no other club other than this one, and one of these is possibly a 1 or a 2. So every other club we can now transform into 3 or 4. Any club that is not purple is a 3 or a 4. That one. But yellow was up there. Yellow is 5, so that's a 5 now. Sorry, that's been available for a while, hasn't it? I just didn't see it. So 5 is in one of these 2 squares. Um, 6 in this box is in one of those 2 positions. So 6 in column 5 of this sort of the second largest Sudoku, I think, has to be there by an arcane process known as Sudoku. Now that digit must now be here, and there's a 3 4 pair, so that's a 1 or a 2, so that's a 1 or a 2 by Sudoku. We might be able to do similar trickery actually that we've just been doing with the clubs. We might be able to do that with the diamonds as well, with 1s and 2s. What a puzzle! What a puzzle! Now, I wonder whether it's quite a lot of colouring, isn't it? 6 nearly. 6 is in one of those 2 positions now. And if these are a 1, 2, 3, 4 quadruple, that top did there's something. Where's 5 in column 3 of the biggest grid? It's not there, so it's there. So that's 5, that's 9, that's therefore yellow. Wow, that's good. Right, so now that's yellow by a process, again, of Sudoku. This is a 5-6 pair, is it? Okay, that's less exciting. Yeah, that's less exciting. That's not what we were after. 9. Yeah, okay, let's trace 9s now in this box, because 9 is now one of those squares by Sudoku, which means 9 I get to place up here, which means I get another 9. That's very generous. Thank you, Lulero and Juggler, for that. Now 9 is in one of these squares. Bobbins is the next thing we want to say. Okay, that didn't work. Shall we try? These squares are from 3, 4, and 6. So this square, I don't know. We could either try and colour the clubs against one another and work out which club is a 4 and which club is a 3. That is one thing we could do. Am I confident that would work? No, I am not. But it might work. Or we could perhaps think about diamonds as regards 1s and 2s. Because there must be a diamond 1 and a diamond 2, and there are 3 of them, aren't there? Now, where do they live in the world? One of them is there, one of them is there. Do I have to put one of them in there? Yes, I do. Right, that's good. That's very good. Okay, so let me go through that logic. It's exactly the same as we just did for the clubs, but if I treat those as a unit, there must be a 1 or a 2 down here by Sudoku in this, and it's going to be diamonded. So they are the 3 possible cells that can be 1s and 2s in diamonds in the puzzle. So every other diamond, well, okay, what are we then saying then? We're saying every other diamond, is it 3 and 4 only? Because we've had our diamonded 5s and 6s. We've had our diamonded 7s and 8s. 1s, 2s. Yeah, 3s and 4s. So everything else that's diamonded is a 3 or a 4. So that is a 3 or a 4, which means that's a 1 or a 2. So it's actually, in fact, it's really not making much difference. I think all we're getting from that is that that square is a 1 or no, not a 1 or a 2, it's a 3 or a 4. Oh, okay. Yeah. So that's a 3, 4, 6. So that's a 1, 2 pair. So that's a 3 or a 4. That's a 1 or a 2. We probably have to colour these 1s and 2s against each other, don't we? There's an awful lot of 1 and 2-age in this puzzle. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure. So let's get rid of that. Let's get rid of that. Now, where is going to be the best place to do this? These squares here are 1, 2, whoopsie, these are 1s, 2s and 9s. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm just not quite sure whether I should be looking at 3s and 4s. Let's just check spades. I can't do spades with 3s and 4s, can I? What? How do I double click this? I can't. I'm not sure if I can just double click spades. I've got so much going on in the grid. 1, 3, 4. Yeah, I see. Yes, I can. Right. So if we go back to spades, I could have done this a lot earlier. I just didn't think about it this way. But if I just highlight for a moment all of those squares which are spades, I need 4 of the spades to be 4s, don't I? But these are different, these are different, these are different by Sudoku. So that is the 4th spade. So that is the 4, which means that's a 3. Oh, okay, so that means that's a 4 on the club, look. So it's not impossible. This is actually going to do things. This is ludicrous. Oh no! I was looking really good for a moment, and then it died. No, okay, 4 and 3. We can do a bit more. We've got two diamonded 4s now. Okay, we got a 3 and a 4. We got 2 clubbed 4s as well. There's going to be a 3rd clubbed 4 in one of those. It's something like this, isn't it? It is definitely something like this. Yeah, where's 3 in this box? I don't know the answer, but it's definitely in one of those 2 squares by Sudoku now, because I can use this 3. And that means I get a 3 here, and this becomes a 4. And that is the 4th clubbed 4. 1, 2, 3, and one of those. So there is no clubbed 4 here, which means this is a 1, 2, 3 triple. That is a 4. That's a 3. There's definitely a 3 in this domino. There's definitely a 3 up here, which is now not in the corner, but that's still very, very welcome. So this is now a 3, 9 pair. This row needs the digits 1, 2, and 4. That's not 4. That's not 4. So this is a 1, 2 pair. So that becomes 4. 4, 9 pair. We've just discovered in box 4. So this is a 1 or a 2. This is a 1, 2 pair in box number 1 of the main grid. These are from 1, 2, and 5. And for our next trick, we will allege, I don't know. What do you think? Do you think we have to colour 1s and 2s? I'm very sure we will at some point. I'm going to get rid of the orange from there. I think we've used that. I might get rid of my 5s and 6s colouring now. Is there a way I can propagate? I think 5s and 6s are really bad in these 3 columns of the middle grid, or the big grid. So I'm not sure how much value I'm getting from them. It could be... no, maybe it's not. Oh, look, right, okay. There is now a diamonded 4 down here in this box. So that's 1 diamonded 4, that's 2, that's 3, and one of those is a diamonded 4. So that's all 4 diamonded 4s, and that means that square cannot be a diamonded 4, and that's a 3. So that's 3, that's 4, that's 4. Isn't this amazing? So this, that's now a 1 or a 2. This is now a 3. That's now a 1 or a 2. Oh, I have a horrible feeling we've got too many diamonded 1s and 2s now. That's now a 4. That's now a 3. That's in spades. Oh, but spades were not interesting. Oh, I really want to use that 4 on that, but I'm not allowed to, am I? Okay. Can I use that 4 on that? I can, on that one. That is legitimate. So... this is very cleverly set. I will tell you that. It's very clever, this. That's a 3. So that seems to have to be a 4, that's a 6, that's a 3, that's a 3, that's a 4. I'm just going to be left with 1s and 2s everywhere, aren't I? And then I'm going to have to somehow work those out. In this column, I have actually got a real 1-2 pair, I think. So they should be a 4-9 pair. And if that's true... Oh, I see, these digits are from 1, 2 and 3, and that's boring. Okay. Well, no, because 4 is definitely in one of those two squares of box 5, and 4 is in one of those two squares. So a question to ask is, where's 4 in row 6 of the big grid? It's got to be here. So that's 4, that's 9, that's 9, that's 4. And now that's 4 and that's 3. And therefore that's 3, because we know one of those was a 3. And now these two squares are not 9. That's a 1-2 pair, so that becomes 9. I've now got a 5-6 pair and a 4. So this becomes a 3. That becomes a 4. Yeah, that's 3. That's 9. That's 4. Oh, right. That's 9, I see. 1, 2, 5 and 6. That's 1, 2 or 6, I think. Looking at the column logic, and that 5 there. Okay. I hope there's a way this resolves, otherwise I've made a boo-boo. I'm not seeing it at the moment. Let's think. Okay, in that row I've got a 1-2 pair. So that should be a 3 then. Yeah, it's going to have to be to do with colouring 1s and 2s, I think. I don't know whether I'm meant to do that immediately. I mean, I'm running out of Sudoku to do, so it's probably around now that we have to do it. So why don't we get rid of grey, get rid of yellow, and where should we start? Where should we start this adventure of colouring 1s and 2s? Oh, no, we don't have to yet. There's a 1-2 pair in this column. That is real. So that's a 5 at the top. So that's a 5, that's a 6. Now I've got a 1-2 pair in this column. That's become a 6. Oh, this is getting a bit terrifying. Okay, that's a 6. That's a 5. Oh no. Right. So something in this grid needs to resolve the 1s and 2s. Okay, so we're just going to have to colour them, I think. Let's go for... I don't know if it's even going to matter where we start. I'm not sure. I sort of want to use something that's already got a... You know, one of these is probably what I'm thinking, or maybe that one as well. Just because they interact in the other grids. I'll try that one. So we'll make that yellow, we'll make that purple. So that's yellow and that's purple. So that's purple. That's purple. That's purple. That's purple. Yellow, 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 yellow. That's now purple, look. So that has extended the colouring from here into this grid on the other side. So I presume this is somehow going to resolve things. Purple. Oh, look, there's some more Sudoku we can do in this grid as well. So that's going to help us to complete our colouring. That's now yellow, that's purple, that's yellow. So that's yellow and that's purple. Now, okay, and we can continue the colouring. It's totally legitimate because that is a Sudoku, isn't it? So yellow, 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 purple, purple. That purple is in this grid, so that's yellow, that's purple, that's yellow. And at the top in this grid, that's yellow, that's purple. Now, right, so it's something to do with yeah, I do see. If you look in yellow, there are two of the same coloured digits. So how could these can't be one, can they? Because then I'd have two ones in clubs. So yellow is 2. Now, before I fill that in, I am just going to pause for a moment and just think about that, because I'm noticing if I do fill in yellow with 2, I get a 2 diamonded here. Oh, I see, and I get a 2 diamonded there. That's exactly what I want. And then I should just get one diamonded one in purple, and I should get one. There's a 1. Yeah, that's going to work, isn't it? So I double click those, I make those 2. I double click those and I make those 1, and I think that is the solution to the puzzle. That is absolutely brilliant. It is brilliant. Wow. Wow. And it's correct. An hour and 15 minutes or so. Well, I hope you'll excuse the time taken, but that is something a bit weird and wonderful. Absolutely incredible. And I actually love the flow of that, because I love the way that the different grids interacted. And it's sort of an uber colouring puzzle combined with circles logic in the shape of suits. Whatever that might mean. But I really enjoyed it. Fantastic collaboration. Well done to Michael. Well done to Lulero. Thank you very much for setting that and giving us a little window into 2 very, very unusual minds. Let me know in the comments how you got on. I enjoy the comments, especially when they're kind. And we'll be back later with another edition of Cracking the Cryptic.